Okay, I wanted to say thank you all to everybody that is liking and commenting on the previous videos. I've had quite a few people in the last 24 hours interact with the videos, and I appreciate that. One of the comments on the previous videos that stuck out was from Ian, and he was talking about learning how to do this. And I thought that was actually really good. I don't have much content over that. So in this video, I'm going to go over some people who we learned from in 2019 that you guys can learn from too. There are a lot of scammers. There's some courses are like $300, $500, and then there's even some that I think are up to like $20,000 that, or they'll basically do your own business for you. And a lot of that is scam. So in this video, I want to go over like some of the people we've learned from and that will really help you without being scammy. They also, most of these, I think all of them actually promote actually getting some experience instead of learning your first day through a course, which is what we recommend. We'll go into that too. So going back to us, just real quickly, briefly over us. We are been selling on Amazon for almost 5 years now. We learned it from Bearder Picker, a YouTuber. He doesn't do much YouTube content on for Amazon nowadays. But we sold 6.2 million. We've gotten about $1.3 million in profit, but this is before a lot of expenses like manpower and stuff. After counting that and before taxes, I think we made like 700,000 or 800,000. We've talked about that in one of the previous videos. If you want to go back through that. So our goal with this series is just to show you guys kind of what it takes to be a multi-million-dollar seller throughout the year, and hopefully encourage you all to either push your business forward if you've got one, or encourage you guys to create your own side hustle of some sort. And hopefully you guys will have enough success that you'll be able to get away from your 9-to-5 job. Once you cut your ties to your 9-to-5 job, it is definitely satisfying. Improves the quality of life very, very much when you aren't having to go to bed at a certain time, to wake up at a certain time, to answer to your boss all day, and then have to worry about being possibly called in during the night or in the weekend or all that stuff. And then you can also basically determine your pay, right? If you're working for yourself, do you want to work 10 hours and get paid for 10 hours? Or do you want to take a week off and not have to worry about taking vacation time or anything like that? It is very nice. So that's my goal for this series. So getting back to the content creators that I personally know, or I don't personally know, but I recommend because I've dealt with them some. The first one is Nate from Hustle Buddies. He's got a YouTube channel as well as a Facebook group. He's got multiple Facebook groups, but we'll talk about the main one in this video. So we learned about Nate about 1.5 years, almost 2 years after we started reselling. So we already knew a lot of the basics. We probably, the first year or two, I probably spent 2,000 to 3,000 hours because I would even listen to YouTube and stuff while at my 9-to-5 job. I just have it in earbuds while I was working on the computer or whatever I needed to do. So Nate shares his story starting with $500, and he never really goes into the numbers about how much he's making now or what he's selling now. But he has a couple of paid courses, which are good, but we'll talk about that later. A couple paid courses, but he has a bunch of free content that basically you could learn everything that you need to know about RA and OA through his free content. It just takes some time, but when you're at home or on your driving to work or from work, or if you're at work and you can listen, just pop it in. It's great. You learn a ton of stuff. So here's his YouTube, Hustle Buddies Official. And then here's his main Facebook group, Hustle Buddies FBA Retail Arbitrage Mastermind. And this is a great group because there's 62,000 members. So if you've got questions or something, there will normally be people that will come on and answer your questions fairly quickly. And there are some very large and experienced sellers on there, even larger and more experienced than us. So I've had a couple of questions that I've asked on here and that people have been able to help me with. So that is amazing. I completely forgot one, but so that's Side Hustle Buddies. Um, I don't have anything over Chris Grant, but this is Chris Grant right here. This is Nate. This is Chris Grant. Chris Grant also has a couple of courses. He does the OA arbitrage, like academy or training or something. It is very good. A lot of his trainings are extremely good for like very beginners. He has a really good talent at basically teaching very basics all the way up. He just builds your foundation up and up. So we had been selling for like 3 or 4 years, and we finally took his course. And even like in the basic stuff, we learned a couple of tips and tricks. And by the end of the first week or going into the second, I mean, it was like, holy cow, I had no idea these apps we use every day can even do all this stuff. So that's all for basically the paid people that I recommend for paid courses. So who should use paid courses? It's not beginners that have just started or learning how. I think those people should do YouTube or something else and really learn the basics as well as to see if you like it. I see so many times where people start with like $1,000 or $2,000 and they'll spend $500 or $700 on all these gadgets and tools that you need, and then a couple of courses, and then they're down to $300 or $400 if they started at 1,000, or they're down to 1,000 if they start with 2,000. And basically, how the growth in these business goes, it's just exponential. So if you're at 300 and you started at 1,000, it's going to take you maybe 3 months or 6 months to get back to that 1,000. So you're working your butt off for weeks or months to make $700. Where if you're 1,000 and you're triple, those weeks or months will get you from 1,000 to 3,000, or maybe even 4,000, because you don't have all those extra monthly apps and subscriptions and all that stuff. So the courses are for people who have been in it for a couple of months, or maybe a year, depending on your growth rate. And let's say you've got $3,000 or $5,000 of total inventory, or money for inventory, and you've always got 500 or 1,000 left in the bank. You just can't spend it. You just don't know how to find places to spend your money. That's when you take courses to get better at sourcing, not the very beginning. And the good thing about Nate and I believe Chris Grant is that they also recommend this thing. A lot of scammers, they're like, boom, give me $1,000, I'll teach you how to do this. And then it's a very bad training. It's a very, very bad course. So not only do you not get good quality content and to learn well, you're also maybe in 3 months, maybe you don't like it, or maybe you struggle with the business. You're out that $1,000 that you're never going to get back. And that's how we started. We sent off $50 of inventory just to test the waters. Once it sold, we sold a little bit more. We sent a little more. And then we basically just learned on YouTube. We didn't do any apps or anything like that for a while. And then after a couple months, after we were selling a few thousand a year, a few thousand a month, so making like $500, $1,000 a month, that's when we spent like $15 on this app to save some time, and like $100 on this app to save some time. But just so many people just go all in and spend tons of money and then never recover it back because they don't like the business or don't have time for it, or some other reason. So that is Nate and Chris Grant. Another really good one is Ed's group, Amazon Seller Performance and Suspensions. If you resell at all on Amazon or even Walmart, I definitely recommend this group. You don't learn tips and tricks and stuff, but you learn about suspensions and what Amazon doesn't like in terms of service and stuff like that. It is very good. Like somebody will be saying, hey, Amazon is now getting you in trouble for this. And then you can go through your account and delete all those before Amazon gets you in trouble. So this is also a really good group if you sell on Amazon. Once again, it's free. The Hustle Buddies group is free too. You just ask to join. and they might have a couple questions just to make sure you're not a bot. And then within 24 hours or 48 hours, they'll accept you. So that is that. The next one is Chaz from Side Hustle Network. I learned a lot from 2019 from him as well. The one that I would recommend from him is 2019 Amazon FBA for Beginners course. So this is really good. I've had a couple of friends and family ask like, hey, I want to resell. Where do I get started? I always recommend Chaz's this video playlist right here. It basically goes into repricing and what to expect and all that stuff. And this would probably be the first thing that you would want to, if you don't have any experience based on selling, this is the first thing that you probably want to watch just to see if it's for you. So the next one is Bearded Picker. He does not really do anything on Amazon anymore. But I did learn from him in 2019 a lot. He had a lot of videos as far as like live videos, and they would do like questions and answers. And he's also the one I believe I first learned about reselling. I think he has a video so made like $2,200 in 24 hours on monopolies or something. Let's see if we can find it real quick. Monopoly. $2,500 in one night. And this is the one I watched and I'm like, oh, that is the fakest thing ever. I'm gonna prove it wrong. And basically we bought a couple of items, we sold them, are like, holy cow. And now it's our full-time job, making 6 figures a year, being our own bosses and everything else. It's amazing. So another one that is decent, but doesn't do anything with Amazon, but if you are doing eBay or just kind of like the reselling businesses, Ralli Roots, they do a little bit of Amazon, but mostly eBay. We learned a lot from them in 2019, basically just about how the business works and stuff like that. Another one would be Rockstar Flipper. Once again, he has some good stuff, sometimes not, but he does a lot of the news type stuff for reselling. If there's a new like Amazon or eBay or something does policy or there's any issues, he'll cover that. So that's another one. It doesn't really tell you how to sell on Amazon or eBay, but is when I would be listening to reselling stuff for 5 to 10 hours a day in 2019, I would listen to quite a bit of his stuff. And there was another one that I was going to say, but I can't remember who. Ralli Roots, Rockstar Flipper, maybe it was Rockstar. Oh, Harry Tornado. I've not watched much about him, but he is another eBay reseller. So what the difference between Amazon and eBay? eBay will be one that it's very beginner friendly in the sense that you could go to eBay and find, like we did, we found a jacket we bought for $5 or $10 and sold it for $75 on eBay. You can go into eBay and buy a $3 shirt and sell it for $25 and make $10, $15. It's very beginner friendly, but it's hard to scale up. Where Amazon, you'll need $500 or $1,000 and take a lot of time. But to really get going on Amazon, you probably need $3,000 to $5,000 to really get going. I would not put $3,000 or $5,000 at the beginning. I would put $500 or $1,000. Buy some stuff because your first stuff is almost always going to be bad. You're going to lose money on a lot of the beginning stuff because you just don't know, you're learning, right? But then as you grow and you get to that 3,000 to 5,000, or if you throw a little more inventory in, once you proof of concept, once you prove that you can be successful in the business, that's when you really start seeing your Amazon take off. Where eBay, like I sold my old calculator from college for like 80 bucks or something like that. And I sold a couple of my college textbooks for 30 or $50 and stuff like that. So you can sell stuff around the house easier. You can't do that on Amazon. You could sell it at some categories as used, but almost everything on Amazon, if the vendor or the customer says, hey, this is fake, you have to have a receipt or invoice or something to prove authenticity. Otherwise, Amazon will just suspend your account and take your money and all your inventory, and you're out of luck, unless you want to spend thousands of dollars on a lawyer to fight it. So eBay is very good for beginner-friendly stuff, where Amazon, it really lets you scale up. Like, it would be almost impossible for us to make 100, 200 grand on eBay because there's just not enough time in the day. But with Amazon and the sell-through on Amazon and just how easily everything flows, we aren't making listings and we aren't shipping stuff. We just ship large boxes of stuff to Amazon, and then Amazon ships it individually to each customer. You can really scale up and make a ton of money on Amazon. We started on eBay in 2019 as well as Amazon. And then going into 2020, we stopped eBay to focus on Amazon. Just because I was struggling with also working a 9-to-5 job to manage both of them, to really grow both of them. So we cut eBay out just because it was so more time intensive for not as much profit compared to Amazon. We also enjoyed Amazon better. So going into today, so the baby did not want to sleep last night. So I texted our prep helper at, I think, 6:30 or 7 a.m. And at that point, my Fitbit said I had slept for a whopping 39 minutes. I told our pet prepper, I said, you can come just like normal. I've got to take the dog to go spa day, get her a bath and stuff. But then I'll come home and I'll probably nap. I said, but you can work all that time if you want, or if you want, you can work in the morning and then leave when I take a nap, or you can just take today off. And then she responded that she would prefer to just take the day off. We worked really hard the last couple of days, so she probably appreciated the day off. But the good news for me is she said, oh, let me know if you want me to work tomorrow. I can work tomorrow. So Friday today. So for the video. And then I was like, oh yeah, that'd be perfect. So we're actually still going to get one day. It's just a day in between. So I took Haley, the dog, to spa day. And that ended up taking like 4 hours. It was ridiculous. Typically when I go there, I source. So it always goes by quicker, it seems, but it normally never takes that long. So I did not do any work. The prep center messaged me. Here's the, oh no, they're both the same. Bummer, I don't have the, this is 2 days ago. This is today's. I messed up and did not include the video or the photo of hour by hour. But while I was at the thing waiting for Haley to get her spa day done, the prep center asked about some products that they received from the wholesaler that didn't match the ASINs that I put down. So when I got home, I investigated all that stuff. I found it's actually a completely new list, a new product. It's not on Amazon or Walmart. So they're either, we're going to go by there and pick it up, or they're going to ship it to us. And then I came home, went and took a nap. I was out of it. And then I started dinner. And then while dinner was cooking, I started prepping the bundles and multi-packs that we bought RA over the last few days, but we've actually had some from a couple of weeks ago too. It has been piling up. So I did that over 55 minutes. My wife and I ate, and then we shipped the products out. The shipment included, I believe this. Yep, this was a shipment. So as of yesterday, if you remember in that video, we had $3,300 and an open shipment that was needed to be completed. We added to that shipment So $6,000 is sales value from the replan like bundles and multi-packs. And it only took like an hour. It took me an hour, and then my wife worked on it, I think an hour, hour and a half while I was napping. So it took us like 2.5 hours to get 6,000 sales value. The net profit is not amazing. It looks like it's about 60%. It probably will drop a little bit because it always spikes during Christmas time and then starts falling down. But we should get 40-50% ROI from it fairly easily. There was also some wholesale in there, but then tomorrow's shipment will be a lot more wholesale. So that was the day for today. So completely missed what I was wanting to do. We are not gonna achieve like getting all the stuff out of the warehouse before Christmas like I was hoping. But hopefully with Pam here tomorrow, we can get a good chunk of it out. We'll beg UPS to come and pick up our stuff later in the day instead of earlier. It depends which route we're on. Sometimes we're on the pickup early morning route, and sometimes we're like the last pickup of the day. So I will ask our UPS driver. We really appreciate him. We talk to him quite a bit and text him, send him family photos and stuff occasionally. That if we could be like on the route at the end of the day. What that does is that gets us like 3 or 4 more hours of actually prepping stuff tomorrow, prepping and processing before shipping. Where if they came at 1, we would have to start boxing like at 11. So we would only get like 1.5, 2 hours of process and prepping. Where if they come at 4:30 or 5, that means we would just have to start boxing like at 2 or 2:30. It would take us longer to box because we'd have more stuff, but 2 or 2:30, which would allow us to have like 5 hours of 5 hours of prep and process, which goes a long way when you're really trying to squeeze it out of there. So that is tomorrow. We will try to get as much stuff out. Today, when I was waiting on the dog to get done, normally I do RA, but I did not want to mess with RA today because I don't want it in the warehouse during the holidays. I'm wanting to start fresh in 2024, and it just makes the books look easier, nicer when there's like no inventory left over at the end of the year. It's either all at Amazon, all at Walmart, none at the warehouse. So that is the hope. I did look at the prep center, and their shipment from today is up to 27,000 revenue going to Amazon. They will have a shipment going to Walmart too, but once that is completed, I will share that on you all too. The ROI isn't quite as high because we're having to pay them to do the prep. But in ways it does save us time because we don't have to pay our prep helper. We don't have to pay for boxes and shipping materials or labels, and it saves me a bunch of time. So it's give or take. If you're just starting, I would always recommend you, if possible, to do everything yourself. 1, so you can learn it, and 2, because it could save a lot of time. Some of our prep center bills are like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. Obviously, that's because we're sending a lot of stuff. But if you've only got $500 and you're spending $50 or $100 a month on prep, that's a big chunk of money that you're throwing away that would really be crucial for your exponential growth. Obviously, I know there's some people, if they live overseas or live in Hawaii or just are physically unable to like prep due to medical conditions or something like that, then yeah, prep centers are good. Or like there's some people that have like a 9-to-5 job, and then they've got like another job or business, and then this is like their 3rd or 4th income stream. Yeah, that works too. I mean, right, like making $100 a month for little work off of $500, making $100 a month for little work is better for them than making $200 or $250 a month with putting in a couple hours a week. But for the most people, I definitely think doing your own stuff, prepping and processing your own stuff is beneficial and will help sustain longer and larger growth long term. That is why we still do almost all of our prep. Obviously, when the baby was born, we had most of the prep center do most of the stuff, but now we are back to us doing most of it. And then 2024, we will try to do as much as possible, but when we start getting backed up and where we can't ship everything every day that we receive, then we'll ship some to the prep center. And then once we get caught up, we'll ship more to us, kind of like that. That is the goal for 2024. I think that is all for today. If you watched this far, I definitely appreciate it. If you saw anything else that you would recommend or that we should do different or something, sure, I'd love to comment below. Or anything that you need help or anything, let me know. Basically every day's content is based off of a reply or comment on the previous days, right? The first day it was somebody's talking about what do you do, so now every day I do like an introduction of what I am and what the business or what this series is for. And then Ian just like, hey, I'm trying to learn this business, I find it very useful or something, like, huh, that's perfect, I'll talk about all the content creators that can help you. So definitely appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. And I hope you guys had a wonderful day and very successful one. And hopefully tomorrow is even more successful. At least that's what I'm hoping for me. But other than that, have a good one.